The breaking point. By the time Kaito Arashi realized he had become invisible, he had already been drowning for 3 years. Not drowning in water, drowning in noise. Notifications, messages, emails, social obligations, work meetings, family expectations, friend requests, calendar invites, group chats, voice memos, video calls, status updates. Every day, 247 digital interactions, he counted once. Kaito was 34 years old, software engineer at a tech company in Tokyo. 6-figure salary, modern apartment, active social life, successful by every metric society recognized, and completely, utterly, suffocatingly exhausted. He couldn't remember the last time he had a thought that wasn't interrupted, the last time he'd sat in silence for more than 3 minutes, the last time he'd done one thing, just one thing, without simultaneously checking his phone, responding to a message, or thinking about the next obligation. His brain felt like a browser with 83 tabs open, all of them loading, none of them finishing. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening. He was at dinner with friends, 7 people around a table at an upscale restaurant. Everyone talking, laughing, sharing photos, normal, pleasant, exactly what you're supposed to do. Kaito sat there and realized, I am not here. His body was present. His mind was already planning tomorrow's presentation, worrying about the text he hadn't responded to, thinking about the project deadline, calculating how many hours of sleep he'd get, wondering if he should post about this dinner on social media. He was having dinner with 7 people while simultaneously being alone with his own fragmented attention. One of his friends asked him something. He didn't hear it, had to ask them to repeat. They laughed. You're always somewhere else, man. They meant it as a joke, but Kaito heard the truth in it. I am always somewhere else. He went home that night, sat on his couch, and stared at his phone. 47 unread notifications, 23 unread emails, 8 unread messages. He felt nothing. Not stress, not anxiety, not overwhelm. Just nothing. Complete numbness. That's when he understood. He had optimized himself into non-existence. Every productivity hack, every efficiency system, every communication tool, every social network, every optimization strategy, all designed to help him do more, be more, achieve more. And they had worked. He was doing more than ever before. But he had disappeared in the process. He wasn't living, he was managing his life. And management isn't the same as existence. Kaito opened his laptop and searched how to stop being distracted all the time. The results were predictable. Articles about focus apps, productivity techniques, time management strategies, meditation apps, more tools, more systems, more optimization. Kaito closed the laptop.
Then he saw it, a comment on an obscure forum buried deep in the search results. You don't need another productivity system. You need to eliminate everything and start over. I did 90 days of complete isolation. No phone, no internet, no people, no distractions. Just me and reality. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and it saved my life. The post was from 2019, 5 years old. The user never posted again. But something about those words hit Kaito like a physical impact. 90 days of complete isolation. Not a weekend retreat, not a digital detox vacation, not a temporary break. 90 days, 3 months, 1 season, a complete elimination of everything. Most people would call that insane, extreme, unnecessary. Kaito called it exactly what he needed. He made the decision that night, 90 days, starting immediately, complete monk mode. No phone, no internet, no social media, no friends, no family visits, no conversations, no entertainment. Just existence, pure, uninterrupted, uncomfortable existence. He had no idea if he would survive it, but he knew with absolute certainty that if he didn't try, he would continue drowning for the rest of his life. The preparation. Kaito spent the next 7 days preparing. Not preparing supplies, preparing to disappear. Day 1, the announcement. He sent one final message to everyone who mattered. I'm taking 90 days of complete isolation. No phone, no internet, no contact. I'll be unreachable. Don't worry. Don't try to find me. I'll explain everything when I return. This is something I have to do. The responses came immediately. His mother, "Are you okay? What happened? Please call me." His best friend, "Dude, this sounds extreme. Let's talk about this." His manager, "I need you to reconsider. We have critical projects." His ex-girlfriend, "This is exactly why we broke up. You always run away instead of dealing with things." Kaito read every message, responded to none of them. He had made his decision. Explanation would only invite debate, and debate would create doubt. Day 2, the elimination. He went through his apartment and removed everything that wasn't essential. TV, donated. Gaming console, donated. Guitar, donated. Books except 3, donated. Decorations, donated. Extra clothes, donated. Kitchen appliances except basics, donated. He kept 1 pot, 1 pan, 1 plate, 1 bowl, 1 cup, 1 spoon, 1 knife. He kept 7 sets of clothes, 1 for each day of the week, all identical. He kept 3 books, only philosophical texts he'd read before. Everything else eliminated. His apartment went from cluttered modern bachelor pad to austere monk cell in 6 hours. Day 4, the lease. He found a different apartment, smaller, cheaper, in a quiet neighborhood far from the city center. 20 square meters, 1 room, bare walls, no neighbors who knew him. He paid 3 months' rent in cash up front. The landlord asked no questions. Kaito offered no explanations. Day 5, the protocol. He wrote down the rules, put them on the wall. These would be his only guidelines for 90 days. The monk mode protocol. No phone, no internet, no electronic communication, no social interaction, no conversations, no human contact beyond transactions, no entertainment, no music, no videos, no games, no books beyond the 3 chosen. No variation in routine, same schedule every single day. No comfort seeking, no avoiding discomfort, sit with everything.
No breaking the protocol for any reason. Emergency equals call one designated contact only. Below the rules, he wrote his daily schedule. 4:30 a.m. wake. 4:30 to 5 a.m. sitting meditation. 5 to 6 a.m. physical training. 6 to 6:30 a.m. cold shower, prepare food. 6:30 to 7 a.m. eat. 7 to 12 p.m. deep work, writing, studying philosophy. 12 to 12:30 p.m. eat. 12:30 to 1 p.m. walk. 1 to 6 p.m. deep work. 6 to 6:30 p.m. physical training. 6:30 to 7 p.m. prepare food, eat. 7 to 9 p.m. sitting meditation. 9 p.m. sleep.
Every day, exactly the same. No variation, no flexibility, no exceptions. Day 6, the goodbye. He visited his parents one last time. His mother cried, "Why are you doing this?" "Because I need to remember who I am without all the noise." "But 90 days, can't you just take a vacation?" "A vacation is temporary. This is transformation." His father said nothing, just looked at him, then nodded once. Kaito understood. His father understood what most people couldn't. Some battles require total war, not partial measures. Day 7, the disconnection. He canceled his phone plan, threw the SIM card away, put the phone in a storage box. He canceled his internet, unplugged the router, put it in the same box. He deactivated all social media accounts, set all profiles to private, deleted all apps. He wrote one final post before disappearing. "I'm going dark for 90 days, not because I'm in crisis, because I'm choosing clarity. See you on the other side." Posted, logged out, deleted apps, done. On day 7, at 11:47 p.m., Kaito Arashi sat in his empty apartment, completely alone, completely disconnected, completely committed. He felt terror and he felt relief, because for the first time in 3 years, there was nothing demanding his attention, just silence, pure, infinite, uncomfortable silence. And at midnight, day 1 of the monk mode protocol began. Week 1, the withdrawal. Day 1, 4:30 a.m. The alarm rang. No phone to check. No notifications to clear, no messages to read. Just wake up, that's all. Kaito sat for meditation, 30 minutes. His mind screamed immediately, not from meditation difficulty, from absence. "Where's my phone? What time is it really? Did anyone respond to my goodbye post? What if there's an emergency? What if someone needs me? What if I'm missing something important?" The anxiety was physical. His hands kept reaching for a phone that wasn't there. His eyes kept glancing at where notifications would appear. Phantom notification syndrome. He'd read about it once. Your brain invents the sensation of receiving notifications even when none exist. He was experiencing it every 3 minutes. 30 minutes of meditation felt like 3 hours, but he sat through it, didn't move, just observed his mind trying to escape. Physical training, 100 burpees, 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups. His body was weak. Years of sitting at a desk had atrophied his physical capability. He struggled through every rep. His mind begged him to stop, to check the time, to do something easier. He didn't stop. Cold shower, 5 minutes of freezing water,
Every cell in his body screamed. His breathing became frantic. His mind generated 1,000 reasons to stop. He didn't stop. Breakfast: rice, vegetables, egg, plain, no seasoning, just fuel. Then deep work. He sat at his desk, opened a notebook, prepared to write, and realized, I have nothing to write about. For 5 years, he'd had constant input, constant stimulation, constant information flowing in. Now, nothing. Complete absence of external input. His mind felt empty, not peacefully empty, anxiously empty, like a drug addict on day 1 of withdrawal. He sat there for 6 hours, wrote 3 sentences.
Day 3. The withdrawal got worse. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. His mind wouldn't stop generating urgent reasons to check his phone. What if Mom is worried? What if work needs to reach me? What if something happened and I don't know about it? The FOMO, fear of missing out, was overwhelming. He wasn't missing anything. He knew that rationally. But emotionally, he felt like he was abandoning everyone, letting people down, being irresponsible. The guilt was crushing. Day 5. He broke. Not the protocol, but mentally. During evening meditation, he started crying, deep, body-shaking sobs. Not sad crying, release crying. He hadn't realized how much tension he'd been carrying, how much stress had been compressed inside him, how much he'd been running from. Now, with nowhere to run, it all came out. He cried for 30 minutes straight. When it stopped, he felt lighter. Not happy, just lighter. Day 7. End of week 1. Kaito assessed himself. Physical, weak but improving, sore but functional. Mental, fragmented, anxious, uncomfortable. Emotional, raw, no buffer between feeling and awareness. Progress, survived. He looked at his reflection in the bathroom mirror. He looked terrible, eyes bloodshot from poor sleep, face drawn from stress, body tense from constant discomfort. But something was different.
He was looking at himself, really looking, not glancing while checking his phone, not distracted by a notification, not thinking about the next task, just looking. And for the first time in years, he recognized the person looking back. I'm still here. Week 1 complete. 83 days remaining. Week 2, 3. The boredom. Day 10. The withdrawal symptoms decreased, but something worse appeared. Complete, crushing, unbearable boredom. Kaito had never experienced real boredom before, not like this. Modern life doesn't allow boredom. The moment it starts, you pick up your phone, scroll something, watch something, listen to something. Boredom lasts 3 seconds maximum. But without any escape, boredom becomes an entity, a presence, a weight. He sat at his desk during deep work hours, stared at the notebook. Seconds felt like minutes, minutes felt like hours. His mind started creating its own stimulation, replaying old conversations, imagining future scenarios, creating problems that didn't exist, generating elaborate fantasies about checking his phone. The mind will do anything to escape boredom, including torture itself with its own thoughts. Day 14, 2 weeks complete. Kaito discovered something. Boredom has layers.
First layer, surface boredom. I have nothing to do. Second layer, anxious boredom. I should be doing something productive. Third layer, existential boredom. What is the point of any of this? Fourth layer, creative boredom. If I can't consume anything, I have to create something. He reached the fourth layer on day 14, and that's when everything changed. He started writing, not checking if it was good, not editing as he went, not thinking about readers, just writing, pure output, no input. The words came slowly at first, then faster, then in torrents. 3 hours passed. He looked up, shocked. He hadn't thought about his phone once. Day 18, the boredom transformed into something else, presence. He noticed things he'd never noticed before. The way morning light moved across his wall, the sound of his own breath, the texture of food when you actually pay attention, the feeling of water on skin, the weight of his own body.
These things had always been there. He'd just never been present enough to notice them. Because presence requires boredom. Real, uncomfortable, unescaped boredom. You have to sit through the discomfort of nothingness before you can appreciate the somethingness of existence. Day 21. 3 weeks complete. Kaito's assessment. Physical, significantly stronger, lean, defined, alive. Mental, clearer, focused for longer periods, less fragmented. Emotional, stable, not happy, not sad, just steady. Boredom transformed into creative fuel. He realized something profound. Boredom isn't the problem. Boredom is the solution. Modern life eliminates boredom because boredom forces you to confront yourself. And most people will do anything to avoid that confrontation. But if you sit through it, really sit through it, you discover that boredom is the doorway to everything you've been avoiding. Your real thoughts, your real feelings, your real self. Week 3 complete. 69 days remaining.
Week 4 to 6, the patterns. Day 25. Kaito noticed something strange. He was happy. Not excited, not entertained, not stimulated. Just content, peaceful, satisfied with simplicity. He woke up, meditated, trained, ate, worked, walked, trained, ate, meditated, slept. Every day, exactly the same. No variation, no novelty, no surprise. And he didn't miss variety at all, because he discovered the human need for novelty is actually an addiction to escape. When life is uncomfortable, you need constant novelty to distract you from the discomfort. When life is aligned, you don't need novelty, you need consistency. Day 30, 1 month complete. Kaito's body had transformed. He lost 8 kilograms, not from dieting, from elimination of unconscious eating. No snacking, no emotional eating, just 3 meals, clean fuel. His muscle definition had emerged. Pull-ups went from struggling with 5 to easily completing 20. Cold showers went from torture to normal. His body had adapted. But the real transformation was mental. His thoughts had slowed down, not in a bad way, in a deliberate way. Before, 47 thoughts per minute, all competing for attention. Now, 3 to 5 thoughts per minute, each one complete before the next began. Thought completion. He could think one thought
all the way through without interruption. Most people never experience this. They start a thought, get distracted, start another, get distracted, start another, never finishing anything, just constantly starting. Kaito was finishing thoughts, completing them, experiencing the satisfaction of mental closure. Day 38. He discovered the pattern beneath the patterns. His daily routine was a pattern: wake, meditate, train, eat, work, repeat. But beneath that pattern was a deeper pattern, the rhythm of existence itself. Morning, expansion, energy building, physical action. Afternoon, focus, mental work, creative output. Evening, contraction, energy releasing, stillness.
This rhythm existed whether he followed it or not, but by aligning his routine with it, he moved with life instead of against it. Day 42. 6 weeks complete. Something unexpected happened. He stopped counting days, not because he forgot, because they no longer mattered. When every day is the same, time stops being linear. It becomes circular, eternal present. Day 1 and day 42 felt identical because he'd eliminated the markers that make time feel different: novel experiences, social events, external changes. Nothing was happening, and paradoxically, everything was happening.
Week 7 through 9. The Silence. Day 50. Kaito had not spoken to another human being in 50 days. No conversations, no small talk, no hellos, nothing. Just transactions, buying groceries, paying rent, minimal words. The silence had become normal. But then something strange started happening. He began talking to himself. Not out loud, internally, full conversations. His mind, starved of external dialogue, created internal dialogue. Different voices emerged. The critic: "This is pointless, you're wasting your time." The rationalist: "Actually, we're learning something valuable." The anxious one: "What if we can't go back to normal?" The observer: "Notice how these are all just thoughts, not truths." He realized these voices had always been there. He'd just been quiet enough to hear them clearly. Day 56. 8 weeks complete. The internal conversations intensified, became more philosophical, more existential. Questions arose that he'd never had time to contemplate. Who am I without my job? Who am I without my social identity? Who am I without any role to perform? What do I actually want? What do I actually believe? What is the point of all this? These weren't abstract philosophical exercises. They were immediate, pressing, unavoidable questions. Because in silence, with no distractions, these questions demand answers. Day 60. He found an answer. Not the answer, an answer. I am the awareness that observes thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. Simple, but profound. He'd spent his entire life identifying with his thoughts, believing he was his thoughts. But in 60 days of silence, he'd watched thoughts come and go, watched them arise, peak, disappear, and realized if thoughts come and go and I remain, then I am not the thoughts. I am what remains when thoughts pass. This wasn't intellectual understanding. This was direct experience. Day 63. The silence had become so deep that normal sounds felt jarring. A car horn, violent. A dog barking, aggressive. Someone dropping something, shocking. His nervous system had recalibrated, attuned itself to quietness. The world hadn't become louder, he'd become more sensitive. And he understood most people live in such constant noise that they've become numb to it. They don't realize they're drowning in sound until they experience real silence. Week 10 to 12. The Clarity. Day 70. 10 weeks complete. Kaito sat in morning meditation and had a realization that changed everything. I don't want to go back. Not back to his old job, not back to his old social life, not back to constant connectivity. The isolation wasn't suffering anymore, it was sanctuary. The silence wasn't emptiness anymore, it was fullness. The routine wasn't restriction anymore, it was freedom, because he'd finally understood freedom isn't having infinite options, freedom is needing nothing. Day 75. He started planning what would happen after day 90, not planning to return to his old life, planning to build a new one. He wrote in his notebook, "I will not carry a smartphone, basic phone for emergencies only. I will not use social media, 0 accounts, 0 scrolling. I will not live in the city, quiet place, minimal neighbors. I will not work a corporate job, freelance, my terms, my schedule. I will not maintain friendships that drain energy, only deep connections. I will not break this routine. 4:30 a.m. wake, daily training, daily meditation, daily meditation." This wasn't a reaction to 90 days, it was integration of 90 days. He wasn't running away from the world, he was choosing how to engage with it. Day 80. Something unexpected. He felt grateful, not for the isolation ending, grateful for the isolation itself, grateful for discovering what he was capable of, grateful for learning who he was without external definition, grateful for proving he could sit with discomfort and not break. Most people live their entire lives never knowing if they're capable of this. Kaito knew he'd done it. Day 85, 5 days remaining. He felt no excitement about returning, no anxiety about staying, just neutrality, complete acceptance. He could stay in monk mode forever. He could re-enter the world tomorrow. Neither option scared him, because he'd discovered the external circumstances don't matter. The internal state is everything. He could be alone and content. He could be social and content. The difference wasn't the situation. The difference was the relationship with the situation. Day 90, 1 day remaining. Kaito spent it exactly like every other day. Wake, meditate, train, eat, work, walk, train, eat, meditate, sleep. No celebration, no special reflection, no preparing for re-entry, just the same. Because the protocol taught him every day is the same day, only the mind creates difference. Day 90. The Return. 4:30 a.m. Day 90. Kaito woke up for the last time in monk mode. He sat for meditation, 30 minutes. His mind was completely still. No thoughts of what came next. No anxiety about re-entering the world. Just presence, just breath, just existence. He completed his final training session. 100 burpees, 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups.
His body moved effortlessly. Muscle memory had turned effort into flow. Cold shower, 5 minutes. No reaction, complete adaptation. Breakfast, plain, perfect. At 7 a.m., the protocol officially ended. He sat at his desk and assessed the 90 days. Physical transformation. Weight, 76 kilos to 68 kilos. Pull-ups, 5 to 25. Resting heart rate, 72 to 52. Body fat, 22% to 11%. Mental transformation. Attention span, 8 minutes to 4+ hours. Thoughts per minute, 3 to 5. Anxious thoughts, constant to rare. Mental clarity, fragmented to crystalline. Emotional transformation. Baseline emotion, anxious to neutral. Reactivity, high to low. Need for external validation, constant to none. Sense of self, external to internal. But the real transformation couldn't be measured. He had discovered who he was without anything external defining him. No job, no social identity, no digital presence, no relationships, no entertainment, no distraction. Just him. And he discovered he was enough. Not because he was special, because existence itself is enough. You don't need anything added to your life to be complete. You just need to remove everything that makes you forget you're already complete.
The integration. Day 91, first day after monk mode. Kaito walked to the nearest phone store, bought a basic phone, no internet, no apps, just calls and texts. He turned it on, 3 voicemails. His mother, "Please call when you can, I miss you." His former manager, "We'd like to discuss bringing you back, new terms." His best friend, "Whenever you're ready, let's talk." He called his mother first. "Kaito, oh my God, are you okay?" "I'm okay, Mom. Better than okay." "What happened? Where were you?" "I was right here, just alone, learning." "Learning what?" "Learning who I am when no one's looking." She didn't understand. That was okay. He didn't need her to. He called his best friend. "Dude, 90 days, you're insane." "Maybe." "So, are you back? Can we hang out?" "I'm back, but I'm different. I don't do crowds anymore. No bars, no parties, just quiet conversations." "That's fine. I actually prefer that anyway." "Good. Let's meet for tea, just us, next week." He didn't call his former manager back. That life was over, not because it was bad, because it wasn't his anymore.
The new life. 6 months after completing the protocol, Kaito's life looked nothing like before. Living situation. Small apartment in quiet neighborhood, 20 square meters, minimal furniture, still looked like a monk's cell. Work. Freelance programmer, 10 hours per week, enough for rent and food, nothing extra needed. Daily routine, 4:30 a.m. wake, meditate, train, eat, work, walk, train, eat, meditate, sleep. Exactly the same as during monk mode. Technology. Basic phone, no smartphone, no social media, no streaming services. Laptop for work only, no browsing, no entertainment. Social life, 3 deep friendships, weekly meetings, real conversations. No parties, no networking events, no performative socializing. Possessions, same as during monk mode. One of everything, nothing extra. His old friends thought he'd become a hermit. His family thought he'd had a breakdown. His ex-girlfriend said, "You've changed. You're unreachable." She was right. He was unreachable. Not physically, mentally, because he'd built a life that didn't require external validation, constant stimulation, or social performance. He was unreachable by the demands of a world he no longer participated in. And he was completely at peace with that.
The philosophy. 1 year after completing the protocol, Kaito started writing about his experience. Not for attention, not for followers, not for validation, just to document what he'd learned. He wrote, "The Monk Mode Protocol, Lessons from 90 Days of Isolation." Lesson 1. Boredom is not the problem. Boredom intolerance is the problem. We've built a society that medicates boredom within 3 seconds. The result? We've lost the ability to think, create, and exist without external stimulation. Boredom is where creativity lives. If you can't be bored, you can't be creative. Lesson 2. Silence reveals what noise covers. Constant noise isn't entertainment, it's avoidance. When you remove all noise, you're forced to confront what you've been running from. Your real thoughts, your real feelings, your real self. Most people would rather die than face that. I almost did. But on the other side of that confrontation is peace. Lesson 3. The self exists independent of external definition. You are not your job. You are not your relationships. You are not your social media presence. You are not your achievements. You are the awareness that experiences all of those things. When you strip everything away, what remains is your actual self, and that self is enough. Lesson 4. Routine isn't restriction. Routine is liberation. People think freedom is infinite options, but infinite options create infinite anxiety. True freedom is eliminating options until only the essential remains. When every day is the same, you stop wasting energy on decisions and start using that energy for depth. Lesson 5. Comfort is a trap that feels like kindness. Society says, avoid discomfort, seek pleasure, optimize everything, make life easy. This advice creates weak, dependent, fragile people. Strength comes from voluntary discomfort. Peace comes from accepting discomfort. Growth comes from choosing discomfort. Comfort is the enemy of capability. Lesson 6. You need less than you think, much less. I lived for 90 days with almost nothing and discovered I didn't miss anything I eliminated. Every possession beyond the essential is just something else to maintain, protect, and worry about. Minimalism isn't about having less, it's about needing less. Lesson 7. The world will call your transformation extreme. When you stop participating in the collective madness, people will say you're weird, extreme, antisocial, unhealthy. Let them. Their judgment is just confirmation that you've broken free of the system they're still trapped in. Lesson 8. Monk mode isn't the destination, it's the reset. You can't stay in isolation forever. That's not the point. The point is to eliminate everything, discover what's essential, then rebuild consciously. Most people build their lives unconsciously, accepting whatever society tells them they should want. Monk mode lets you start over with intention. He published the document on a simple website,
No social media promotion, no comments section, no tracking analytics. Just, here's what I learned, take it or leave it. Within 6 months, 200,000 people had read it. He received emails every day, people asking questions, asking for guidance, asking if they should try it. He responded to none of them, because the document said everything he had to say. If people wanted to try monk mode, they didn't need his permission, they just needed to choose it. And if they weren't ready to choose it, his words wouldn't convince them. Transformation can't be outsourced. It can only be lived.
The invitation. 5 years after completing the protocol, Kaito was 39 years old. He still woke at 4:30 a.m., still meditated, still trained, still lived in 20 square meters, still owned almost nothing. His routine had not changed in 5 years. People asked him, "Don't you get bored?" He smiled. "That's the point. Don't you want more? More of what? I have everything I need. Don't you miss your old life? I miss nothing, because I need nothing." On the 5-year anniversary of day 1, he added one final section to his document, an invitation. If you're reading this, you're probably drowning. Maybe you don't realize it yet. Maybe you think this is just how life is supposed to feel. Busy, distracted, fragmented, exhausting. It's not. You're drowning in noise, drowning in obligations, drowning in other people's expectations, drowning in your own inability to sit still with yourself. The monk mode protocol is not a solution. It's not a productivity hack. It's not a self-improvement technique. It's a complete reset. 90 days of complete isolation. No phone, no internet, no people, no distractions, no entertainment, no escape. Just you and reality, and the uncomfortable truth of who you actually are beneath all the noise. Most people will never do this because most people would rather stay comfortable and drowning than be uncomfortable and free. But if you're reading this and something inside you is screaming yes, then you already know what you have to do. You don't need my permission. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need perfect circumstances. You just need to choose. 90 days, complete isolation, total elimination. It will be the hardest thing you've ever done. It will also be the most important. Because on the other side of those 90 days, you will discover something that modern society has made you forget. You are enough. You were always enough. You just forgot because the world kept telling you that you needed more. The protocol doesn't give you anything. It removes everything that was blocking you from remembering what you already had. And what you already had was always sufficient. So here's my invitation. Disappear for 90 days. Find yourself in the silence. And when you return, build a life that doesn't require you to disappear ever again. Kaito Arashi, 5 years after the monk mode protocol.
He posted the update, closed the laptop, and went back to his routine. Because he had said everything that needed to be said, the rest was up to whoever was ready to hear it.
The movement. What Kaito didn't know, because he'd stopped checking, was that his document had sparked something. A movement underground, quiet but growing. People were doing the protocol all over the world. A 28-year-old lawyer in New York disappeared for 90 days, returned different, quit law, became a woodworker. A 45-year-old mother in London did it. Didn't quit her life, but transformed her relationship with it. A 19-year-old college student in Seoul did it. Dropped out, started writing, became the voice of his generation. They didn't do it because Kaito told them to. They did it because they recognized themselves in his words. They were drowning too, and they chose to surface. Some completed all 90 days. Some made it 30 days, and that was enough. Some made it 7 days and broke. It didn't matter, because even failing the protocol taught them something. How dependent they'd become on comfort, on distraction, on external validation. And that awareness was the beginning of transformation.
The final truth. 10 years after completing the protocol, Kaito was 44 years old. Someone tracked him down, a journalist writing a story about the monk mode movement. She wanted an interview. He agreed. One condition: in person, no recording, no photos, just conversation. They met at a quiet tea house. She asked the question everyone wanted to know. Was it worth it? 90 days of complete isolation. Was it really necessary? Kaito thought about it. Necessary? No. Most people will live their entire lives without doing it, and they'll survive. Then why do it? Because survival isn't the same as living. Most people survive. Very few actually live. And monk mode taught you how to live? No. Monk mode taught me how to stop running from living. She wrote that down, then asked, "Do you regret anything about those 90 days?" Yes. What? That I didn't do it sooner. I wasted years drowning when I could have been living. Would you do it again? I never stopped. I'm still in monk mode. I just do it while existing in the world now. She looked confused. But you have a phone. You have internet. You're talking to me right now. Monk mode isn't about eliminating things forever. It's about eliminating things long enough to discover you don't need them. Then you can choose to reintroduce them consciously, on your terms, without becoming dependent again. So the 90 days was just temporary? The 90 days was preparation for a lifetime of not being controlled by anything external. That sounds lonely. Kaito smiled. That's what everyone says, but loneliness is wanting to be with others because you can't stand being with yourself. I can stand being with myself, so I'm never lonely even when I'm alone, and I'm never dependent on others even when I'm with them. I don't know if that's freedom or isolation. That's the choice everyone has to make for themselves. The journalist finished her tea, closed her notebook. Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to someone considering monk mode, what would it be? Kaito thought for a long time. Don't do it because I did it. Don't do it because it's trending. Don't do it because you think it will fix your life. Then why do it? Do it because you've tried everything else and nothing worked. Do it because you're drowning and you're finally ready to admit it. Do it because you're desperate enough to choose temporary suffering over permanent mediocrity. And if someone's not desperate enough, then they're not ready, and that's okay. Not everyone needs to do this, but the ones who need it, they know, they feel it, and no amount of logic will convince them otherwise. She left. Kaito finished his tea, paid, walked home. 4:30 a.m. would come early tomorrow, and he would wake up and meditate and train and work and live, exactly as he had for the past 3,650 days. Not because he was disciplined, not because he was strong, not because he was special, because he had discovered something most people never discover.
that you don't need discipline to do what you genuinely want to do. And what he genuinely wanted was this: to wake up every day and be present for his own life. No noise, no distraction, no drowning, just existence. Pure, complete, sufficient existence. The monk mode protocol hadn't given him that. It had removed everything that was blocking him from seeing he already had it. And that was enough. That was always enough.
The final truth. 10 years after completing the protocol, Kaito was 44 years old. Someone tracked him down, a journalist writing a story about the monk mode movement. She wanted an interview. He agreed. One condition: in person, no recording, no photos, just conversation. They met at a quiet tea house. She asked the question everyone wanted to know. Was it worth it? 90 days of complete isolation. Was it really necessary? Kaito thought about it. Necessary? No. Most people will live their entire lives without doing it, and they'll survive. Then why do it? Because survival isn't the same as living. Most people survive. Very few actually live. And monk mode taught you how to live? No, monk mode taught me how to stop running from living. She wrote that down, then asked, "Do you regret anything about those 90 days?" Yes. What? That I didn't do it sooner. I wasted years drowning when I could have been living. Would you do it again? I never stopped. I'm still in monk mode. I just do it while existing in the world now. She looked confused. But you have a phone. You have internet. You're talking to me right now. Monk mode isn't about eliminating things forever. It's about eliminating things long enough to discover you don't need them. Then you can choose to reintroduce them consciously, on your terms, without becoming dependent again. So the 90 days was just temporary? The 90 days was preparation for a lifetime of not being controlled by anything external. That sounds lonely. Kaito smiled. That's what everyone says, but loneliness is wanting to be with others because you can't stand being with yourself. I can stand being with myself, so I'm never lonely even when I'm alone, and I'm never dependent on others even when I'm with them. I don't know if that's freedom or isolation. That's the choice everyone has to make for themselves. The journalist finished her tea, closed her notebook. Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to someone considering monk mode, what would it be? Kaito thought for a long time. Don't do it because I did it. Don't do it because it's trending. Don't do it because you think it will fix your life. Then why do it? Do it because you've tried everything else and nothing worked. Do it because you're drowning and you're finally ready to admit it. Do it because you're desperate enough to choose temporary suffering over permanent mediocrity. And if someone's not desperate enough, then they're not ready, and that's okay. Not everyone needs to do this, but the ones who need it, they know, they feel it, and no amount of logic will convince them otherwise. She left. Kaito finished his tea, paid, walked home. 4:30 a.m. would come early tomorrow, and he would wake up and meditate and train and work and live, exactly as he had for the past 3,650 days. Not because he was disciplined, not because he was strong, not because he was special, because he had discovered something most people never discover, that you don't need discipline to do what you genuinely want to do. And what he genuinely wanted was this: to wake up every day and be present for his own life. No noise, no distraction, no drowning, just existence. Pure, complete
sufficient existence. The monk mode protocol hadn't given him that. It had removed everything that was blocking him from seeing he already had it. And that was enough. That was always enough.